Want to hear a really good story? Stay tuned. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel, Ask Nurse Narissa, where we ask Nurse Narissa everything health related, nurse related, and lifestyle related. So today, it's a story time. One of my mentees has asked me to make a video on my experience in nursing school. This will be a series of videos. It's gonna take a longer time than 20 minutes to discuss my 6 years of nursing school and why it was 6 years and not 4. Okay, so I went to nursing school in Cuba. It was a full scholarship from the government of Grenada. I started 2007 and I finished in 2013. It was an adventure. I tell you, it was an adventure. Imagine being put into, it was like a culture shock. First and foremost, let me tell you, it's a culture shock. Yes, Cuba is beautiful. I am Cuban, okay? Don't ask me, I am a Cuban. If you cut me, you will see La Habana or Matanzas written in my veins, I promise you. Okay? Don't even question it. So, Cuba has grown on me, and everybody that has studied in Cuba could tell you, after a while, it's like home. It's home. It's like the people. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. So 2007, I was just turned 20. I was 19. And I got offered a scholarship to study in a new country, with a new language. And I said yes, of course, why not? Got all the paperwork done, sent an application, everything was done really speedily. I could tell that it was done really speedily. And I was on a plane, me and a couple other girls, we were on a plane heading to Cuba in like 2 weeks. And I got there and I was one of the late, I was one of the girls in the last batch, I think. Yes, myself and a couple others. And it was a culture shock. Thank God I had a cousin that was there. So I kind of had family, you know what I mean? But it was still each man for his own. And then over time you build friendships and you make friends and whatnot. So this is gonna be a series because there's no way, like I said, there's no way I could finish 6 years of experience in 20 minutes. So this is the first of a few series on nursing school in Matanzas, Cuba. So yeah, we were put in Hague Grande. We were under a special program under Fidel Castro himself, Comandante Fidel, that we all love. So we were set aside and we were in special schools. Our professors lived on campus with us and we were all in the middle of nowhere. Our school was in the middle of nowhere, I promise you. It was just campo. It was just campo, okay? Also, certain things, when I say them in Spanish, I'm going to put the translation on the screen so that you don't get confused. So we were in the campo country and we lived in an orchard, it was an orchard. It was orange trees for as far as your eyes could see. Orange trees. Sorry. So we lived in the middle of nowhere in the campo with like neighboring schools, yes, and they were all foreign schools. We were all foreign schools. There was a Pakistani school front and forward to us. Then there was Chinese up a little ways, and then there was Peruvians this way, that way. Every school was like a different set of nationalities. We were the only Caribbean school. And when I say Caribbean, people from everywhere in the Caribbean attended my school. And hence I have friends in every part of the Caribbean. And now intentionally every part of the world through the 6 years of being in a foreign country with foreign students. So that's that. We were put into this school in the middle of nowhere. Our teachers speak only Spanish. Some of them spoke basic English, and we had to learn Spanish, at least the basic part of it, for the first 6 months that we were there. So that's what our first 6 months was. Just go to school, Spanish classes every day. We did biology, we did history, we did all of that, but they were all basically teaching you Spanish so you can integrate, and then you can start learning, going to nursing school basically. And that was fun. For the first 6 months, I caught on pretty quickly. I must say, I caught on to the Spanish pretty quickly. I loved my professors, and I really liked my classmates were all Grenadian. We're all Caribbean, but still different cultures, right? So having to learn to different people, different women, different young men, was a little bit challenging at first, and there would be a lot of disputes and whatnot. I myself was in a couple scuffles, not scuffles, but girl stuff. So it took a lot of adjusting and getting used to, because I grew up very sheltered. I knew nothing of the outside world besides when I traveled with family, or when I never left my family before. I was always with family. So being on my own at 19, 20, it was a new thing, and it was nice. Yes, I get to do what I want, but it's still, I miss my mom. And I remember I bawled for the first 2 weeks. I cried like a baby. I missed my home because it was a culture shock. Dropping us in the middle of nowhere, in between some naranjas and some schools that you can barely see in the distance, and people that you don't know, that don't like you, that you don't like, because everybody's different. It was a struggle for the first 2 weeks, first 3 months, to be honest, but I made it through. So after the first 6 months of learning basic Spanish and history, chemistry, physics, everything over again in Spanish, we were then given the right to explore. Yeah. Before that, the school took us on guided tours every weekend. So every Saturday, we would all get into these nice big blue Via Azul buses, and we would go to the caves, we would go to the playa, to the beach, we go to the malls, we go shopping, etc. And it was fun, because it was oh my God, Cuba is a beautiful place to visit. It's a beautiful place to visit. Hard to live in, beautiful place to visit. I'm gonna be honest, right? And for the first couple of weeks, we loved it. Couple of months, we loved it, because it's every weekend is a new place. We gotta go somewhere else. And then after the first 6 months, we were given our ID cards, and they're okay, you can travel, you can go places on the weekends, but just make sure the school knows where you're going. And I must say, our school was very protective of us. Firstly, because we were foreigners and we were Caribbean students, and also because we were under a special program. They made sure that they could find us wherever we went. We always had permission to leave. When most of the times we had permission to leave, until we kind of grew out of it, and we were very comfortable with our Spanish and comfortable with the direction that we knew exactly how to get where we need to get. Yeah, that was the beginning of nursing school. That's even before the real thing started. So that's an adventure in itself. I remember I ran away. I think we were there 3 months, and it was myself and some others. We were we had cabin fever. We were over the green walls, we were over the bland food, we were over it all. We just wanted to get out, because we weren't allowed to leave early up, because we were, firstly, didn't speak much Spanish, and secondly, we didn't have ID cards as yet. So we weren't allowed to leave, but we ran away. I think it was a small group of us. We literally hopped the fence, y'all. Don't do that. Don't run away from university, don't run away from school, especially if you're in a foreign country. Don't do that, okay? So that's what I did. I survived, so I'm fine, okay? Right. So we ran away, jumped, we botead. Botea means you go to the autopista. What's autopista? What's an autopista? Highway. Go to the highway and you botea, like you hitchhike, yeah? You put out mostly like 10 pesos or whatever, and then you stop them and you tell them you want to go La Habana, or you want to go to Camagüey, or to Cienfuegos. You just shout it out, or the person would stop and they would say, da da da, I'm going there, and then you just hop on. You give them whatever money you take out and you hop on. Now, mind you, it sounds risky as hell, and it probably was, but in hindsight, it probably really was. But Cuba is relatively a safe country, and we never lived in fear. I can promise you that. I have traveled 18 hours by myself with a truck driver. Me sitting in a cab next to him, feeling safe. I never felt threatened at 2 o'clock in the morning. Cuba is relatively a safe place. I must say that. They have a lot of respect for the law. The policia is really respected. They don't really do much heavy crime over there. So we traveled freely. So like I said, you botea. That's how you get from one point to the next. Yeah, because you remember you're a student, you're on your own basically. School's out for the weekend. You want to go out, you want to see the place, you want to have a social life. And we used to go to the sports school. The sports school, or ISCA, the other school on the side of the highway. So that's where we would either go. So the girls from my school, we would mostly go to La Habana on weekends or to Cienfuegos. You know, meet up with our friends. We had a lot of other Grenadians in other schools, especially the sports school in La Habana. So we would botea to go there, or we botea to go to other parts of. Depends on if you had a boyfriend that way, if you had a girlfriend that way. If you had 10 friends in one section, then we would botea to go where you needed to go. Botea is hitchhike. Oh my God, I still cannot say hitchhike. I say botea. It doesn't matter where I am, I still say botea. You take 10 pesos, put it out, and you say paya or paya, and then you go. You get stopped, and like I said, it's literally a safe place. I've never been hassled. I never felt threatened my entire time that I've been the 6 years that I've been there. I've never felt threatened or in fear of my life. I know some people have had experiences, but I've never been one of those people. God is good. So yeah, that's part 1 of nursing school. I ran away and I learned Spanish that way. I ran away a couple times and I got chastised for it, reprimanded for it, maybe once or twice. But I didn't stop, because that's how I learned Spanish so well. Because learning to sit in the back of a truck, a camioneta with somebody, and they're speaking, they're saying, yo escuché, and then you learned, what you learned, the classroom Spanish was not the same as the street Spanish. Like, you know, obviously dialect and slang. And what I've learned is that the more you integrate yourself into the culture, the less likely you are to look as a foreigner, and the less likely you are to be robbed or to be taken advantage of in any way. So that's what I did. I tried to fit in as best way as I could, and I did. I literally lived with Cubans for the last 2 years of university. I purposely did that. I am a Cuban, like I said. So that's part 1 of my adventure in nursing school. New place, new language, running away. What the hell was I thinking? I must say, within the first couple of weeks, I met a bunch of the best girls. Some of them most of them I'm still in contact with today. Like, we're still really good friends. And like I said, I had a cousin that was there with me, so it made things a little bit easier to know that I had a familiar face. And I hope it was the same way for her too. I had a familiar face and someone that I grew up with that I knew. So it wasn't that hard. It was still difficult. Like I said, I bawled for the first 2 weeks. I really wanted to go back home. But I've never been a quitter, and I didn't quit, and I'm glad I didn't. Because of that scholarship, I am where I am today. Like, hello. So, this series is you're gonna be in for a lot. I'm telling you, I'm gonna be shocking you guys with a lot of revelation on myself. I'm gonna be outing myself a lot. Imagine me, innocent me, running away from from my campus. What? Right, so that's today's video. That's part 1 of my nursing school experience. Like I said, it's gonna be a series, so stay tuned. In a couple days, I'm gonna be dropping part 2. Bye, and stay kind, okay?